Path through the Wasteland. Level 1, the Basement Rat. You are sitting in the dark. Your world has shrunk to the size of a 3 by 4 meter concrete room under an old warehouse. Outside, there is a silence that is more terrifying than the explosions a month ago. The smell of dampness and stale dust fills your nose. Your breakfast is 50 grams of cold beans from a dented can. It's the last can. If you don't go out today, you won't have the strength to open the door tomorrow. You grab a rusty crowbar, your only weapon. You climb the stairs, your heart pounding against your ribs like a trapped bird. You cautiously crack open the hatch. The air outside is bitter, smelling of soot and a dead city. Your goal is the pharmacy across the street. You sprint across the road, hugging the husks of rusted cars. Inside is chaos. Your fingers tremble as you find a can of ham and a pack of antibiotics hidden behind a fallen shelf. At that moment, glass shatters in the back of the room. You don't look back. You run. Today you survived because you were faster than the shadow. You're back in the basement, eating ham, and it tastes better than any delicacy from the old world. You are a rat, but you are a living rat. Level 2, the Scavenger. At this stage, your main problem isn't mutants or bandits. It's the lack of boots that don't fall apart as you walk. You no longer shiver at every rustle. Now you are the hunter. You have a worn-out backpack, a coil of paracord, and a homemade knife forged from a leaf spring. You've learned to read the city. An overturned trash can mean people were here. A scorched cross on a door means typhus. Your first skirmish happens over a jerry can of gasoline. Two drifters as hungry as you block your path in an alleyway. One holds a piece of rebar, the other a kitchen knife. You don't start a dialogue. You know that in this world, words are cheaper than bullets, which you don't have anyway. You strike first, hard and dirty. One falls, the other runs, coughing in the dust. You take their meager loot, a lighter and half a pack of stale crackers. Now your shelter isn't just a basement, it's a fortress. You bar the windows with steel sheets and set tripwires made of tin cans. You are beginning to accumulate resources. Level 3, the Mercenary. Your reputation begins to work for you. You aren't just a survivor, you're the man who knows the trails. A trade caravan hires you. 5 exhausted people hauling salt and ammunition in an old truck converted to run on wood. You're paid 2 magazines of 5.45 caliber and hot soup twice a day. Your first team fight happens on a bridge. An ambush. Bullets hiss overhead, chipping away at the stone. You smell gunpowder and adrenaline. You raise an old AK and fire a short burst. You feel no pity. You only feel the recoil in your shoulder and the satisfaction that your sector is clear. You see people working together to survive. You realize a loner can last a long time, but only a group can build something. You take your share and leave, but a plan is already brewing in your head. You need your own place. Level 4, the Founder. You find an abandoned farm 50 kilometers from the city. There's a well with relatively clean water and high walls. You are alone until one rainy evening a woman with a child comes to your gate. They are emaciated. You have supplies for a month if you eat alone. If you let them in, the food lasts 2 weeks. This is your first moral choice. Survivor logic says, drive them away. Leader logic says, I need people. You open the gate. The child eats your canned meat, and 2 days later the woman helps you patch a hole in the roof and shows you which forest mushrooms are safe to eat. You realize that hands are more important than mouths. A week later, 2 more arrive. A former electrician and an old man who knows his way around soil. The farm stops being just a house. It becomes a point on the map. Level 5, the Settlement Leader. Your community is now 20 people strong. You no longer go on raids yourself, you manage. Your day begins with assigning duties. Who is on guard? Who is in the field? Who is fixing the fence? You have your first harvest of mutated but edible corn. But a full life attracts vultures. The Rusty Gang arrives at dawn. 10 of them on bikes, armed to the teeth. They demand half the harvest and 2 women. Your people look at you. You see fear and hope in their eyes. You walk to the gate, holding a shotgun. You don't give them the corn. You give the order, fire. The fight is short and bloody. You lose 2 people, but the gang is annihilated. You stand over the body of their leader and realize you are now responsible for every grave on this hill. You are no longer one of them. You are above them. Level 6, the strategist diplomat. One wrong order and your people will put you on a pitchfork. But even more dangerous is the drought burning your fields. You realize that one farm is not enough. You begin negotiations with a neighboring settlement by the river. They have water, you have surplus ammunition and a workshop. You create the first trade route. You no longer fight everyone in sight. You learn to negotiate. When a dust consumption epidemic begins, you don't close the gates. You send messengers for medicine into the city, risking everything. You unite 3 bases into an alliance. You exchange news, specialists, and seeds. You begin to think in terms of regions. Your name is spoken with respect within a 100-mile radius. You introduce labor credits, the prototype of a first currency. Life becomes predictable, and that is your greatest achievement. Level 7, Lure the Wastelands. Your settlement has turned into a city. 500 people. Your own police force, a school and a former hangar. Coins minted from shell casings. You sit in an office with maps, wearing a clean tunic instead of rags. No Horizonte Vstayut Novia Thin, the army of the true flame, fanatics who see the apocalypse as God's will. They have armored cars and fanatical faith. This is not just a raid, it's a war. You mobilize everyone who can hold a weapon. You use scorched earth tactics, luring them into a narrow gorge. You personally lead the reserve into the fray when the walls seem ready to crumble. The roar of explosions screams, the smell of burning rubber. You win, but the price is staggering. Half the city is in ruins. Sitting by the fire that evening, you look at your hands. They are covered in blood and soot. You ask yourself, how are you different from those you fought against? You created a civilization, but its foundation is built on bones. Level 8, the legacy. You are 60 years old. Your hair is as white as the ash that once buried your basement. You stand on the balcony of a stone town hall. Below, the streets are humming. Children run to school, not knowing the taste of rusty water or the fear of the night. You look at the garden stretching out where there was once a dead wasteland. The irrigation system is working, and the markets sell cloth and fresh bread. You pull that same old bean can from your pocket, kept as a reminder. You realize survival is not the ability to kill. It is the ability to build what will outlive you. Tomorrow you will hand over power to the council. Your time of war is over. You go into your garden, sit on a bench, and for the first time in 40 years, you simply close your eyes without listening for footsteps. You defeated death because you gave life to others. But the price was always the same. Your own soul.